Hey everybody, I got a video here for you today, another Ancient America site, and this one's a little different than the ones I've been talking about. And it is located in California near the Arizona border. And it's really difficult to decide what I'm going to talk about next. And I made an Ancient America series about 3 years ago. But in my progression as a researcher and uploader, I think some of those are worth reviewing and really deserve to be talked about again, because some of these a lot of people don't know they even exist, and they are pretty unique to ancient America. But we're going to fly in. I think this is just north of Blythe, California. This is called the Blythe Intaglios, and these are geoglyphs carved in the earth. And what is still existing today is not quite what was here a long time ago. And there was a period during World War II where a lot of these got taken out, and I'll talk about that in a second. But here you can see fences around these large geoglyphs in the earth. And here we have a large human figure. But here you notice we are perfectly aligned to north, so the tip of his head is the furthest north point in this geoglyph. So there seems to be some alignment to it. Is that just by chance? Well, I really doubt it. And these are created just like the Nazca geoglyphs by removing the top layer of earth and revealing a lighter color underneath. And I think some of the articles I'm going to get to talk about that. One of the most interesting things I found about this site is this right here, and we have what could be a horse right here, and I'm going to talk about that too. But right here we have a snake with a coiled tail, much like the mounded serpent mound. And these geoglyphs of the snake with the coiled tail and the head and the open mouth here, these are found all over the ancient United States, but really a great distance from Serpent Mound, Ohio, we have the same type of geoglyph. And if we go over just a little bit directly west, there is another one right down here, and people theorize this is a woman. And do these figures, are they just figures of people carved in the earth for no specific reason, or do these have some religious or symbolistic value? Well, we're going to talk about that too. Now here is what we see today, and we've lost a lot of these formations, or at least their original shape. Here is a drawing based on the original discovery, and around the head they had lines coming off the head, and people think, well, this might represent hair, but I think it represents something else, kind of like emanation, and this was a godlike figure to these people. Now let's do a little reading. This is legendsofamerica.com. It says, Intaglios, also called geoglyphs, are gigantic human or animal figures drawn on the ground surface. While the most famous geoglyphs in the world are the Nazca lines in Peru, there are over 200 Intaglios in the Colorado Desert of the American Southwest. The best known of these are located west of the Colorado River, about 15 miles north of Blythe, California, situated on two low mesas, so these are slightly elevated. It says, scientists have not been able to agree on who made these giant drawings on the desert floor, nor when they were made. Theories range from a couple hundred years up to 10,000 years old. Radiocarbon dates for the figures range from 900 BC to 1200 CE. So if you have people living around these glyphs, you're going to have a whole wide range of carbon dating. Some historians believe that the figures were made by the Mojave and Quechan Indians somewhere between 450 and 2,000 years ago and represent Mastamo, the creator of life. Others believe the figures represent powerful individuals in an Indian clan or depict humans interacting with their natural surroundings. Most of the human figures are etched next to or near animal figures. It says part of the dating problem is that the animal figures appear to be horses. If so, they must have been carved either before American horses went extinct some 10,000 years ago, or more recently after the Spaniards arrived in California in 1540. So there is a bit of confusion there. Another theory holds that some modern horses did exist in North America before the Spaniards, but regarded as food sources rather than beasts of burden. The age of the drawings cannot be dated accurately. The Blythe Intaglios, situated in 3 locations, contain 3 abstract human shapes. two four-legged animals resembling horses, and a spiral figure thought to be a coiled serpent, various geometric lines, and a dance ring that is 140 feet in diameter. The largest human figure in the Blythe Intaglios group is 171 feet long, and the smallest is 95 feet. They are best viewed from the air. The geoglyphs were created by scraping away the top layers of darker rocks and pebbles to reveal a lighter soil beneath. Displaced rocks outline the figures, and the exposed soil was stamped down, which makes it more difficult for plants to grow in the lines. Now, these were only discovered in 1932. It says, in 1932, George Palmer, a pilot flying between Las Vegas, Nevada and Blythe, California, noticed the Blythe geoglyph. His find led to a survey of the area by the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County, California. The interest in the Blythe Intaglios led to the search for and discovery of more desert Intaglios. The Bureau of Land Management erected fences in 1974 to protect the Intaglios, and the Blythe Intaglios were placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1982. So not only were these created like the Nazca lines were, but they were also discovered exactly like the Nazca lines were. Not until man started flying were these discovered. Now here is historicmysteries.com, and it says geoglyphic casualties of war. It says General George S. Patton summoned recruits to the Colorado Desert for training. He apparently had no idea that one of the first casualties of the war effort were the Blythe Intaglios beneath the tires of Army vehicles. By the time the National Geographic and Smithsonian sent a team of scientists to explore the Intaglios in 1952, some of the desert geoglyphs bore visual marks of the tire tracks. 5 more years would pass before the U.S. officials would build fences, and they also did bombing practice in this area, and we have lost some of these geoglyphs, but a few do remain due to some conservation efforts. And here is another geoglyph, and this guy is striding, and he appears to be holding a spear or a club, and there are fish down below here, and seems to be the water is depicted. And here is a depiction of another serpent at the site, but it says Mastamo, and that is what most people theorize the large figure depicts. It says they identified this deity with the constellation Orion, and it is remarkable how this constellation is indeed often depicted as a giant, either waving a club or a spear, whether in the New or Old World. And I have made more than a few videos on how Orion is depicted, and I will leave a few links below. It says, in ancient times, sacred ceremonial dances were held in the area to honor Mastamo, and the geoglyphs form part of the sacred landscape and the pilgrimage between the land of the death and the place of creation. And of course, in Egyptian lore, Orion is the place where souls went to be immortal in the heavens. And in the Mayan myth, Orion in the nebula is the place of creation. So, a lot of questions, but it says this. The Intaglios as cultural identity. There is one point upon which all archaeologists and scientists seem to agree. The greatest value of the Blythe Intaglios may be their ability to preserve the cultural identity of the Native American peoples. It is somewhat ironic that the conquest of America's original inhabitants occurred in a manner not unlike the process used to create these remarkable geoglyphs. Little by little, the Native American way of life has been scraped away, leaving only a lighter shade of a once colorful and vibrant society. That is a little history of the Blythe Intaglios, large human figures, animal figures, serpents with coiled tail, just like Serpent Mound. But I find this place pretty interesting. Glad we still have some of these formations left, and we lost a lot of them back about 80 years ago. It appears there are a lot of questions on this site. Theories range. These are a few hundred years old to maybe 10,000 years old. But just a lot of questions. A lot of people don't even know about this site. It exists right on the border of California and Arizona in the southwestern United States. A deep history here. Hope you thought this was interesting. You all have a very nice day.